Scott Russell, nice to see you. I like what you've done with the place.
I put a good word in with my friend Gustav Eiffel. He built a tower for us, Adrienne, and right back here, right in the center of things, that's our spot. We're going to be there for the opening ceremony. It's going to be great.
You and me, it'll be good. So for people who are just catching up, what is the story of Canada at these Olympic Games?
You know what, it's the same story for every country at these games as far as I'm concerned. We're about gender equality at these games. When Paris last hosted in 1924, 3% of the 3,000 athletes that were here were women. Now, 100 years later, 50% of the athletes who are here are women. And 50% of the events that will be run at these games are for women. I think that's a huge, huge story. One other thing, though, that you have to keep in mind for Canada, men's basketball appears for the first time since Sydney 2000 when Steve Nash played. Canadians have got 11 NBA players on the roster, including Canada's Athlete of the Year in 2023. That's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And they can contend for a medal. It's a really good basketball team.
Who do you think people are going to be talking about after Paris 2024?
I think they're going to be talking about the Canadian throwers, and they're all young, and they've been surprising everybody around the world. I'm talking about Ethan Katzberg. He's in his early 20s. He's from Nanaimo, British Columbia. He's the world champion, the youngest world champion ever in the hammer throw. His counterpart on the women's side, Cameron Rogers from Richmond, British Columbia. Absolutely fantastic, the world champion. And then from the other side of the country, from Brooklyn, Nova Scotia, Sarah Mitten, the shot putter, world indoor champion. Absolutely fantastic competitor. But I don't want you to forget about a guy who's already made a name for himself and deserves to be a household name, and that's Damian Warner, who is the decathlon Olympic champion. One of the best athletes in the world, trying to do something that very few people have ever done, and that's repeat as Olympic champion.
Do you think there will ever be a decathlon for women?
There may not be, but there's a heptathlon for women, so you've got 7 events, but it's a good point, Adrienne, as we move towards gender equality at the Games, why not 10 events for the women?
Let's talk about some new sports, though, because there are a few here.
Yeah, there are a few here. And the one that will be here on a one-time only basis is breaking.
Amazing, amazing! Say what? Come on!
We used to think of it as breakdancing, right? The Games are trying to appeal to an urban audience and a greater perspective, I suppose. And Canada's got a really good breaker. His name is Phil Kim from Vancouver, BC, a former world champion. He's the Pan American Games champion. And I love this about breakdancing. They give the breakers handles. So he's Phil Wizard, and he's really good. He can make some magic. The other new sport, relatively new sport, 3x3 basketball.
Pull up.
Half-court basketball, street ball. Canada's team is absolutely fantastic. The Plouffe twins, Paige Crozon, Casey Bosch, they're all from the Prairie West. They're going to contend for a medal.
And 3x3, won't that be outside?
It'll be outside. It's street, downtown. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it.
Amazing. You know, stop me if I'm wrong here. 1988, was that your first Olympics that you covered?
1988, Seoul, South Korea, yeah.
Okay, so this will be your last Olympics and Paralympics?
It will be my last Olympics and Paralympics as a host for sure.
And when you go home and people say to you, what's it been like covering the Olympics? What do you like about it? What's the feeling?
It always gives me a sense of wonder. I think that's the thing about it. I was a kid. I went to summer camp. We had the mini Olympics. I was fascinated by it. And I've never lost that fascination, Adrienne. I mean, it's the great spectacle. It's bringing people together. And I really think that the Olympics is about an ideal. And I think they've lived up to the ideal for the most part. At least we hope they do. Excellence, respect, friendship. That's the Olympics.
You love it, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Scotty, thank you.
Thank you.